This is Sybert signing in to Kane's Wrath. On the map, Tiberium Gardens VIII. And this is going to be a big one, an 8-player FFA. Let's try and orient ourselves. On the left side, as the purple GDI, this is Scared. He is scared of this 8-player FFA. As the pink Traveler 59, this is Baggio. Or Baggio? I don't know. As the blue Blackhand, this is Sgt.Walton. As the yellow Blackhand, this is APM Kutsappie. I'm going to be calling him APM. Then we're swing around to the left side of the map as the red GDI, this is BikeRushOwnz. As the orange GDI, this is WuhanVirus. Swinging back around to the right side as the cyan Blackhand, this is Arthuro. And as the green GDI, this is kutsappie. Well, I'm going to be calling just Sappy, probably. That is the orientation a ton of players, and I certainly hope, no favorites here, but I certainly hope they don't all stick around for the long haul, because this is a lot of players. There's a lot of money on this map, as you may have noticed. Blue Tiberium, green Tiberium, normal-sized field, then 2 more green fields, all in your little protected by mountains little area that you spawn in. Also some blue Tiberium there, which I think is literally impossible to harvest, although maybe someone will find a way. We got battle markers firing off all over the map. Most of them are just bunkers shooting each other or a little bit of Tiberium damage happening. Also a handful of spikes. As you can see, it looks like about 3 kind of split between 2 spawning positions. And then a bunker in the middle here, and another tib spike in the middle here, and an EMP control center there. So lots of buildings to capture, lots of stuff going on, a little bit of Tiberium damage there. Ooh, a flame tank going to be coming in here from APM. He's got 2 flame tanks on the move, and he's going to be going for Sgt.Walton, maybe even enough to kill Sgt.Walton right out of this game. Another Black Hand player, so Trav 59 is represented once, Black Hand is represented 3 times, and GDI is represented, I think, 4 times. And that's the faction distribution of this particular game. 1 Scorpion tank is going to be trying to chase this flame tank away, and for now it will be enough, although he potentially could come back around and swing back in at a different angle. For now, the MCV of Sgt.Walton is safe. Descent's going to be coming out. Is there? Yes, there is a stasis chamber. He's researching something, most likely fast legs for those descents. Going to be getting some quick descents out on the map, and Arthuro, having secured this building, is going to be going for the tib spike, so he's going to be able to control, it looks like 2 tib spikes there. This is a bunker over on this side, and other than that, these guys, I assume, are about to be going crazy. Actually, cultists also going to be out on the map for Baggio, I don't know. A little bit of an Orca Strike going to be coming in, hitting Bike Rush. He, of course, dropped a crane like most players did, harvesting as much of that blue Tiberium as humanly possible before expanding out to the other fields, and going to be setting up a foxhole to keep an eye on his opponent next to him. Wow, APM sending his flame tank all the way over here, is going to start flaming down the MCV and then turn his attention to this tier 3. It looks like he will end up going down as Baggio does hit Scared rather, with a whole bunch of gunwalkers and some descents now going to be on the front line. They're targeting down this harvester. He's all the way up to tier 3 with this juggernaut, which means the splash damage is insane. If he can only get a second shot off, a handful of gunwalkers do go down very quickly, and 3 or 4 more do die in one fell swoop. That splash damage is insane over there. Looks like Sgt.Walton got the Scorpion tanks on the move, his own flame tanks now out on the field, and he could start to put some pain on APM in the same way that APM was putting some pain on him. WuhanVirus going for the kill of his GDI brethren, but it's not going to be enough considering that there's a sonic emitter and 2 AA turrets here from Bike Rush to push WuhanVirus out of this game. Clone army going to be given a little bit of vision, and that's dangerous because in this kind of a game where you've got this much money, people can start one-clicking you pretty darn quickly. A couple of purifiers out on the map as these juggernauts from Scared are not scared to start shelling the base of Baggio. He's even got some cultists going to be grabbing those juggernauts and someone firing off a catalyst missile somewhere on this map as orcas are going to be heading in for WuhanVirus. Going to be looking to snipe down a couple of these harvesters, but they're going to have to trade their lives if they want the kill, and they don't even get the kill. The harvester does survive. The cultists turning the juggernauts against Scared, and Baggio is going to get some damage done as well as using that stasis to lock down that little section of stuff. Sergeant Walton once again going to have some pressure put on him by APM. He's had these flame tanks for a while, but he hasn't actually moved out of his base with them, so a little bit unfortunate for him as now he doesn't have much of an opportunity to do something with these flame tanks. He's going to send them out, and actually this base is completely undefended. No, one Purifier does turn around with some rocket troopers. They see them running out, and the Redeemer steps out for APM, so he's got some real armor on this map. Now he's going to be able to burn through these Conyards without too much trouble. This Conyard of Sergeant Walton. Note he's going to go for the refinery. Sergeant Walton, he's got a lot of cash, as you can see, siloed up. And the MCV move for Arthuro does get shut down by Sappy, as Sappy is taking a lot of pressure on both sides, but he's going to be able to hold this off. It looks like a Marv possibly popping out, yes, for Bike Rush as his MCV moves into the middle of the map and flames the blue flame upgrade for those flame tanks going to be stepping out onto this map, but both GDI players got it, and these Purifiers are just going to rip through these buildings. The MCV is down. Sergeant Walton is all but defeated in this game, and Sergeant Walton has been defeated. Juggernaut's going to be going for the kill on Arturo's flame tank, as in the north, Bike Rush still not putting any pressure on Scared, but Scared has a lot to deal with from Baggio, as the artillery going to be wiping out pretty much everything in this base. Good for him, he's not getting hit by Bike Rush as well. WuhanVirus starting to move out, but APM has expanded into the middle of the map. This is so much Tiberium, like 6 fields in total there. Eradicator Hexapod steps out onto the field for Baggio. He's got a couple more Devastator warships joining the front line. Even the Juggernauts getting some good damage out. And it looks like Sniper Team's going to be called in, but they do start getting shot pretty much immediately. This Lightning Spike giving great vision for Baggio, and now he's into low power mode. Is Scared, I keep wanting to call him Sacred. Down in the south, Sappy is having to deal with more Arthuro aggression as he moves his Redeemer into the main base while he shells from afar with Spectres, trying to establish himself in the middle of the map and get his economy rolling. He's going to want to stop all these jugs. He's going to want to stomp all over them, as they will eventually bleed down this Redeemer. But no, the Redeemer will go down. The Orcas also getting in on the action, as the Sonic Emitter, I think, was the one who actually got the kill. A huge man spam swell from APM. He can actually, just like this, he can expand into Sergeant Walton's old main base. That's a huge amount of Tiberium still on the map, and it looks like Scared is out of this game as well. I missed the actual announcement there, but Baggio, he has the same idea. He's going to set up shop in Scared's old main base, and these guys are, well, Bike Rush is starting to clear out WuhanVirus, who kind of brought this upon himself as he went early aggro on Bike Rush for good reason. Orcas doing what they can, but Orcas against infantry, never something you want to see. There's the fire sale from Kutsappie, and Sappy is out of this game, bringing us down to really 4 big players plus WuhanVirus. I mean, when you've got a Marv and your opponent's MCV in the middle of your base, you are probably not doing very well, and WuhanVirus is not long for this world. There we go. He is out of here. All right. Bike Rush, Baggio, APM, and Arthuro, the big players in this match. Oh my gosh, a heroic jug, and it just gets killed. Just gets assassinated there. He's looking to kill the cultists. Bike Rush has had to deal with this for many, many years, probably longer than just about anyone, at a higher level than just about anyone. And I mean, probably from the best cultist controller that Kane's Wrath has ever seen. So if anyone can deal with cultists in this particular game, it's going to be Bike Rush. Firehawks coming in with their anti-air missiles, but there's the teleport forward of that Eradicator Hexapod. He's going to be looking to put some damage out onto this GDI army. He teleports forward and immediately turns around and he's like, Wow, that's a lot of Juggernauts, and they do a ton of damage. Arthuro also with the man spam swell, but not as big as APM, so one of these guys is going to have to go up against either Baggio or each other sooner or later. And it looks like APM starting to move in. He, of course, has that Black Disciple upgrade and then also the Purifying Flame upgrade, which means he's going to be able to burn through buildings if he had more than like 2 infantry squads. Arthuro turning his artillery onto BikeRushOwnz, potentially trying to force him out of the game as Baggio hits from the north. Of course, these guys could be trying to coordinate to kill Bike Rush in this game to then have the rest of the FFA for themselves. You do sometimes see that sort of stuff happen, as Bike Rush is definitely the big name in this particular match. But APM, a huge man spam, is going to be sent down here. Charged Particle Beam is not going to be enough to stop this many rocket troopers, and this defensive turret is going to go down. The MCV is also under threat, considering that this Purifying Flame upgrade will allow them to burn through these buildings pretty quickly. But the defense is here for Arthuro. He turns his forces around. He marches away from the front line just as Bike Rush arrives at it. Railgun mammoth tanks, juggernauts, and a Marv knocking on the door of Arthuro, or rather his expansion door, while in the north he also angers APM a little bit there. These forces are getting split up. They eventually will be mopped up by Arthuro. I have no doubt that he'll be able to deal with this, considering the army that he has. But APM in the north is trying to fire on just about everything, including himself with these Spectres. Who cares about who you hurt as long as you hurt somebody, even if it's your own team? Arthuro has secured his, I guess not his main base, his main base is over here, but his new main base as Shockwave Artillery fires off somewhere on the map. Going to be locking down this Redeemer for the easy kill. There's the explosion as the Redeemer dies. And I guess that was APM's Redeemer. That wasn't even Arturo's Redeemer. I don't know who just spawned another Redeemer. Oh, it was Arthuro down here. I guess he lost his Redeemer at some point, because I'm pretty sure he built an Epic some point earlier in this game, and now the stalemate has begun. My gosh, APM has harvested so much money. I mean, Bike Rush has also harvested a lot of money, but some of that is just his Marv driving along. And Bike Rush sending out his Marv without a lot of support. He's going to have to deal with these Black Hand infantry swells at some point, but I don't know that he has the units to do it just at the current moment. Harvester's taking a little bit of damage from this Foxhole, but nothing for Baggio to really worry about. EMP grenades has been purchased by Bike Rush, so he has the opportunity to try and EMP that Eradicator Hexapod. He has the opportunity to try and EMP the Redeemer and any of these Purifiers that get a little bit too close for comfort. How many MCVs does APM have? I think the answer is 4? Yes, he's got at least 4, although, yeah, he actually has 5, I guess, so that is way too many MCVs. That is way too many obelisks that can be constructed for a base push. BikeRushOwnz, he's getting pushed. He's getting a little bit pressured by APM, a little bit of pressure by Baggio, and potentially a little bit of pressure through this back door by Arthuro. And again, it could be one of those situations where all 3 of these guys decide to team up on Bike Rush to give themselves each a better chance of winning, because if you knock out the #1 player in this particular match, then you have a better shot, each of you, for yourselves at taking out the others. I assume this is going to be teleported away in just a moment here. This Eradicator Hexapod dangerously low. No, it does get phased. The cultists for now do escape. This Gunwalker is also safe. The Redeemer out for APM, but down here in the south, this is Arthuro. Even the Firehawks getting in on this damage, and orbital bombardment clearing out the majority of this army, which means this Redeemer stands almost alone, and that is never a good situation. When your Redeemer doesn't have the support it needs, it will go down to these hammerheads with the rails inside of them, with the zone troopers inside of them firing off their railguns. And that attack has been shut down. Bike Rush actually could probably sneak in here and pretty much clean up Arthuro. He doesn't have much of an army. He doesn't have much strength actually left to run around the map. He indeed just had that one big attack and lots of infrastructure, but not much else than that. And Bike Rush, if he cleared out Arthuro, that would give him a little bit of breathing room, although he does have to be careful a little bit here. There's the teleport away of that Eradicator Hexapod as APM is moving in. Devastator warships doing a lot of damage to this army, and Cultists going to start grabbing some of these Purifiers to turn them against APM, which, you know, could just anger APM. In the south, a giant battle forms as these armies clash in the middle of the map. And even this Marv is going to be taking so much damage. Firehawk's going to be coming in, trying to do their splash damage. They drop pretty much everything on one group of infantry. And APM with a huge swell and a one-click that Tib Vane detonation on top of that Marv. Going to be pushing Bike Rush back for now. Even a Tib Vapor Bomb going to be ending that refinery's life as slowly but surely his forces try to move forward. The Juggernauts grinding away at this army, and slowly but surely Bike Rush with overwhelming forces has held the line. Really, this line of Juggernauts doing untold amounts of damage when things looked bad for Bike Rush. He was still able to hold strong. 2 engineers in that Marv are keeping it alive. A war factory here for repairs to try and keep him in this game. Up in the north, keep in mind the APM and Baggio are clashing, but it is so many Devastator warships cleaning up, or trying to clean up, that Redeemer as the Spectres forced to back off. The Juggernauts are too many for them, and that is so many Zone Troopers that just went down to that one Purifier. The Redeemer's still alive in the north. It hasn't been eliminated, but this Purifier will eventually go down. No, the Juggernauts are starting to get pushed back. The Spectres enough damage with the Purifiers on the front line to push this back. This Marv hanging on by just inches. As these rockets get close, they may be able to clean up this Marv, and there's the Spectres firing a couple more shots. Is that a heroic rocket squad? Yes, it's 2 of them there, but one of them doesn't have any actual rocket troopers left. The Marv pulled back its double vet, nearly going heroic as it's killed so much in this game. APM slowly base crawling his way forward in the north, while in the south he has to deal with this big shell from this big series of shells from these Juggernauts. Spectres firing away at this Marv as it gets constantly repaired. They're not targeting the war factory, and the infantry army has largely been evaporated. But the Redeemer on the back end coming in from the north. One Purifier does get capped by those cultists. It does take a couple of shots at this Redeemer, and the Juggernauts now turning their fire on this Redeemer. The Redeemer may go down from this one lone Purifier firing from the left, and there goes APM's, I think, second Redeemer. The Marv still stands. Desperately, some engineers need to be reinforced to grab these husks, and Arthuro, he was nearly out of this game, but the answer is no. He's turning his threat upon APM, and APM, even these bikes in the north with the Tib core missiles doing a ton of damage to the back door of APM, trying to cut off the economy at the knees. So many Purifiers, too many Purifiers for Baggio to capture and kill, as Baggio is actually low on power. He's got Devastator warships, but they're not great at killing off these Purifiers. Of course, the discs often miss entirely when you have moving targets like this. A single vet Eradicator hexapod going to be looking to clean up down in the south. But Bike Rush still having to deal with these Spectres. His Marv is still alive. It's almost up to half HP as the Spectres putting a lot of pressure on Bike Rush. And these are now the Spectres of Arthuro, not the Spectres of APM. And APM has nearly been kicked out of this game in terms of map presence. But keep in mind, he has this huge column of Purifiers. Never have we seen so much Purifying Flame annihilating every building around here. The Prodigy is going to be capping what he can, but everything is going down for Baggio except for the signal transmitter, and for now the drone ship will escape. Even the Eradicator hexapod tank can't take on this many lasers. Well, maybe with heals and teleports he actually can. A couple of caps from that Prodigy could seal the deal. The Devastator warship starting to work away. The splash damage can be tremendous. One crush is allowed to happen, but is APM actually going to let this... Oh my gosh, he's walking right into this Eradicator hexapod, trying to surround it as it goes heroic. And it's stomping all over these Purifiers. That entire column of Purifiers eliminated almost everything for APM is gone. He has been defeated. He's out of this game. The infrastructure and buildings taken down by Arthuro, and the army annihilated by Baggio. His army of Devastator warships now turning to their next closest target, BikeRushOwnz. And he's got this one signal transmitter, which might be keeping him in the game if his drone ship is put in peril. Bike Rush's Marv has also gone heroic. It's up to 3/4 health, something like that. Arthuro turning his attention. He's going to, inadvertently, he's turning his attention to Baggio as he's sweeping around the north side of the map, finally getting some power plants down, and those slingshots rushing in here. They've got tungsten shell, the upgrade to do more damage to these Devastator warships. There are so many Devastator warships that with this Eradicator Hexpod, I think they're going to be able to stand tall. This damage is split across. Some of these are Devastator warships, but good movement from BikeRush, keeping these slingshots alive as long as he possibly can. But Baggio has too much DPS to be stopped, and for now, Baggio has saved himself. I imagine eventually Arthuro and BikeRush are going to be able to kick him out of this game, but Arthuro needs to start thinking about how he's going to kick BikeRush out of this game. The EMP Control Center has been grabbed in the middle of the map by BikeRush, so he has that potential on his side. It looks like either cultists or engineers ending up capping those juggernauts. They will go down for now, but Devastator warships. Ooh, the supersonic airstrike is not enough, and this Eradicator Hexpod is so close. It is going to get locked down by that shockwave artillery almost certainly, and the juggernauts will finish it off. No, yes, there they do. They finally get the shots that they needed as Baggio is going down. Little did he have after fighting with APM, but he had a powerful army, and now it is all gone in between the one-clicks, the slingshots, and the bike buggy from Arthuro wrapped all the way around the top side of the map. And that is pretty much it. He's still technically in this game, but no, Baggio with a bunch of numbers has been defeated, and now it is down to just two, Arthuro and BikeRush. If this was a 1v1, my money would be on BikeRush because I don't know who Arthuro is. I don't know if he's any good, but he's done so well for himself in this FFA, swinging through with an inordinate amount of bike buggy, going to be able to crash through all of these harvesters, even killing some of these mammoth tanks with their railgun upgrades. Not enough to save them from the overwhelming swarm, but does Arthuro have the endurance to go the distance as he's slowly trying to choke the life out of BikeRushOwnz, having to build and rebuild just about everything on the map. BikeRushOwnz is now in this southern section of the map. I think Wuhan's original main base. He has lots of infrastructure up there. He's got a slow-moving army, but it looks like this bike buggy has all but been eliminated as these last few buggies looking for an opening, looking for a way out. APC is dropping some mines here to help eradicate those last few buggies. And now Arthuro has a problem. Arthuro has a problem, and that is his Tier 1 easily destroyed army is no match for the full upgrades, Tier 3 heroic and veteran status of BikeRush's army. A heroic juggernaut, several others are single vet. These units have been around for a while, and they can show it. Now, this does also present a possibility of stalemate. If Arthuro is able to get up to a ton of... Well, actually, Vertigo... Well, he's... Ooh. I forgot he was Black Hand. So the aircraft, not really an option here for Arthuro. But if he's able to get a ton of artillery, he could potentially draw this game out and try and get himself into a better position. Right now, it looks like the strength of hand lies with BikeRush. Arthuro is going to push forward. This is not his main MCV, so BikeRush can afford to lose this. He just needs to buy time. He needs to bleed this army dry. Slingshots rushing forward. They're going to be going for the crush. The hover crush is amazing, as that is so many rocket troopers that just got flattened enough to give it double vet status, and BikeRush handing out awards to his units just for running over everything in sight. BikeRush, the slow march forward of the juggernauts. They're bleeding this army dry. The Marv in bleeding this army dry. The Marv in the north, not even participating in this battle. And it looks like BikeRush has economy for days. He doesn't have a lot of cash in the bank, but this Marv is, I assume, going to help with that. I don't know if this Marv is bugged or if it's just not harvesting for other reasons. But Arthuro He's got this little corner of the map. He's trying to expand up here. He's actually regrabbing some of this blue tib. Focusing all of his harvesters on this blue Tiberium is probably the best move, and that's exactly what he's done. He's basically just been moving his MCV around, dropping refineries when and where he can. It got a little contingent of bike buggy. Maybe he can try and make something happen. It's going to be so hard to make something happen, though, because watchtowers deal with bike buggy when they're in good enough numbers. And I don't think Arthuro has enough bike buggy to overwhelm a constant watchtower spam from multiple MCVs from Bike Rush. This FFA has provided some crazy big battles for these guys, finally pulling in that bike buggy. Could definitely snipe these harvesters, so he's going to cut off a little bit of the income of Bike Rush. I don't know how much Bike Rush is worried about those couple of harvesters down in the south, though, considering his Marv and more refineries are up in the north in the center fields. Arthuro, he's doing what he can. He's got mostly, again, easily defeatable infantry. Infantry, in theory, if they were up close and personal with these juggernauts, they'd be able to clean them up, but they just can't get close. Being forced to crawl is just a death sentence for those infantry. They bunch up so much, they take so much splash damage. This I really like. Unfortunately, it gets spotted by Bike Rush, which means it's going to get shut down. If there was EMP for Arthuro, or that three Hand of Nod had gone unscouted and he was able to mass just a huge swell of infantry, you know, he would have something going there, but nothing going. Marv slowly carving away at that infantry in the north. 2 more Hands of Nod get established, and I assume Arthuro still has big money in his bank considering all of the harvesters and refineries he has spread out around the map, but big money in the bank isn't good enough. That's a ton of money right over there, so needs to throw down a couple more refineries. Bike Rush could even just spam out like APCs or hammerheads or something. Just something to support this Marv and then just march around the map with it. Juggernauts have held everything else at bay, and, you know, I don't like calling a game early, but if Arthuro pulls this one out, that would be pretty incredible. BikeRushOwnz, this Marv is not invincible, but it can take a lot of punishment, and I assume Bike Rush is going to support this with something. He's got, don't worry guys, he's got 2 rifleman squads against all the Black Hand infantry in the world. He may actually be bringing this harvester over to try and help. I think that shockwave artillery going to be firing off, and it actually doesn't even matter right now because this harvester is getting so many crushes. That Marv was in danger, but considering how many kills that harvester got, it was an Orca strike. It missed. It hit absolutely nothing. That is a heroic harvester. Here we go, boys. Now we're cooking. You were waiting this whole game for the heroic harvester to show up, and now it's here. APCs on the front line from Bike Rush, unleashing that AP ammo on every single one of these rocket squads. And these rocket squads are actually dealing with the APCs okay. If this Purifier got up a little bit closer, he would have a more difficult time. But for now, BikeRushOwnz slowly but surely moving his way forward. I don't know what Arturo's real plan to deal with all this stuff is, but when you've let a GDI player get this big, this strong, there isn't a whole lot else you can do. Just checking the veteran status of all of those juggernauts. Bike Rush is so rich that he drops 2 war factories just to repair his Marv. And where is that heroic harvester? You're the real hero, buddy. You are our favorite guy. You're the one that we all actually are here to see. Not any of this other stuff. Not these Hands of Nod getting slowly busted down by this Grenadier. And, BikeRushOwnz slowly but surely chewing away at this army. And Arthuro, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of options. This is so many APCs for Bike Rush. When you're bleeding out infantry like this, just one at a time, it's not a big swell. You can't deal with the APCs very easily. Then, you know, things are not going well. Arthuro, he still has a fight left in him. He's, I guess, drafting more refineries, more power plants to try and set up even more economy for himself. The trouble is just the technology and the upgrades. APCs are just better at killing a slow bleed of rocket troopers than the rocket troopers are at killing the APCs. Although if the APCs drive into a bunch of base defenses, you have that to worry about. And at this point, Hammerheads or Firehawks might be the better thing to do for Bike Rush. Spend some of that money that he's got, use the Hammerheads or use the Firehawks to start bombing away some of this infrastructure. Take down the MCVs, every MCV that you can find, every war factory, reclamator hub, whatever. Just cut them all down. Stop him from being able to rebuild, and then you can just slowly work away at the infantry army if he wants to draw this out into that kind of a situation. You never want to leave a game early, you know, because the hope is always alive. Hope springs eternal that you're going to be the guy to have the awesome comeback in an FFA to fight to the bitter end, but actually win against all odds. It is extraordinarily unlikely for Arthuro to do that. Which I guess it could be Arturo. Could be the slightly different pronunciation there. But I guess that would translate to Arthur in English. Hammerheads cleaning up everything. Shredder turrets, they're pretty good at dealing with APCs. They are terrible at dealing with... This is hilarious. They're terrible at dealing with Hammerheads. This is insane. Oh my gosh! Those black head squads. They're just like slowly being shot. Like by the biggest cannons in the world. This is just ridiculous. Bike Rush, he sees the base expansion of Arthur. And Arthur has been defeated. Hammerheads, Mammoth tanks, and APCs on the left side of the map, as well as an MCV here to finish the job. And that will do it for this FFA. Actually, one real quick thing. I do want to check how much money these guys harvested. So, Bike Rush was the top with, nope. That's 500,000 resources. Oh my gosh. That is so much money. I don't know if I've ever seen a game with that much harvested. 500,000. Okay, if you have like one of those infinite money or like one of those maps that spawns blue Tiberium constantly, that's different. But this is like a, you know, a somewhat straightforward map. It does definitely have a lot of blue Tiberium. But $500,000 in his bank account. So how is Bike Rush able to do it? I mean, some of these other guys, 43,000, 80,000, nothing compared to 500,000. Yikes, 437,000, 266,000. I hope you guys enjoyed this FFA. Some awesome action brought to you by these guys. A big thanks to all of them playing this 8-player FFA. Thank you all very much for watching, and this is Sybert signing out.